8:55 it is. All right, my beautiful people. Thanks so much for tuning in, man. This is Future by Design. Brand new show that I decided to do. I've really been looking forward to this for about a month. I was going to put it off till May, but I said, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get it done. So I've really been looking for a time frame to do it. This will be my third or fourth show that I'm doing. So I decided I'm going to do this every Wednesday night at the same time, as long as I can do it. So here's the deal, guys. Many of you guys have some great ideas. Many of you guys want to start a business. Many of you guys want to be an entrepreneur. Many of you guys want to fire your own boss. Many of you guys want to do a lot of these things. But what we find is that many don't know how to implement their very own ideas. And so what I'm going to be doing here, we're going to be going through a process as a step-by-step guide on from idea to implementation. I would say this is an action show. So what do I mean by that? It means that you're probably going to need to be able to take notes, jot down a few things for you to take away, do some homework, because as we progress each week, there's going to be progression in our thought process and our theory, and then obviously up into implementation. So if you don't already, I would advise you to use your phone or get a pad and a pen and be ready to take notes. It's not only that you just show up to a show like this, it's that you show up with the expectation that you're going to get something from it. And what you get from it is what you take away. And so this is more of an activity than it is entertainment. I'm a teacher. So that's just want to give you that caveat. Now, here's the deal. We're going to be going through this book called The Execution Pipeline, the step-by-step guide from turning your business idea from dream to reality. Now, I came across the author of this book about 3 months ago. When I first looked at the book, I was like, okay, interesting. But then I started to read it. I said, oh, I got to read this book. So I actually haven't read the whole book yet, but I read so much of it. I said, okay, I'm going to do a show based off this book and try to help people, because so many people, they have some things that they can bring to the world, some value they can bring to the marketplace, but they just don't know how. Or they have so many ideas, they never get started, or whatever the case may be for you. So if you're a person that's a builder, you're a person that's saying, I've got some things that I want to bring to the marketplace and I'm ready to take this journey, I can tell you this journey is probably going to take about 15 weeks. It's 11 modules or 11 sections, but we're not going to be able to go through a section a week. It's just too much. So if that's you, continue to tune in, continue to show up. I will record them, but I'm gonna keep moving forward. I'm actually trying. I've got some things that I want to do. I want to build a school, so I'm hoping that this journey is I know that this journey is going to bring me closer to my school. But there's probably some things within the book that I haven't considered myself that's going to help me. So not only am I facilitating this, but I'm also going through it with you as well. So don't think that you're going through it alone. Yeah, ERGJ, your success coach. This is all about taking your ideas from dream to reality. So the book, Execution Pipeline, again, it's a book that you can get through my website, www.ergj.net. This book just came out in the fall of 2015, so it's pretty new. But you can get it through me, and in that way you can read along, or you can go at your own pace, or when you're doing your homework or your assignments, you can come back and you could be ready to go for the next week. So that's kind of the intro, the caveat. People that are here. I'm not stopping. I'm just moving forward, and we'll see how far we can get today. So let's start by talking about this book and why he wrote it. He says his goal was to prepare us for battle. He designed this book as a guide to help us wiggle our way through the 10% adventures that beat the 2-year death cycle. So if you don't know, small business owners or small ventures, they typically don't make it past year 2. And the reason why is because of leadership, lack of planning, really not thinking everything through before they try to implement whatever it is that they bring into the marketplace. So he's writing this book. This is going to be for nonprofits or businesses, products or services that many of the principles will transfer into your everyday life. So not only have I found things in business that work, but I've also seen that some of those principles, or many of those principles, they impact my personal life. So things like being on time, things like showing up, things like having a plan. Like, man, what's it like to actually have a plan when you want to take a woman on a date versus just winging it? You know what I mean? So anyway, so remember this: the key to a successful venture and a more satisfying life is to take action. So again, this show is all about you taking action. If you're not willing to take action, you're really not going to get much from it other than more information. And how many of us need more information? That's great, but we need to do something with it. Countless people get up every day and have an idea for a new venture, yet they never advance to taking action steps. Instead of moving forward, they continue life as usual and end up dreading the next day. He's going to lay out the action steps so that we can beat the odds and escape from the harmful cycle that traps so many. I meet so many of my peers that I went to school with that are stuck on stupid. They got the idea, but they never do nothing with it, and they find themselves living a miserable life because they don't decide to chase their dream. Again, take action as we get into week one. In the end, great dreams, lofty ambitions, and decorated plans won't propel you. You need drive, discipline, and commitment. Everybody write that in the comments below. You need drive, discipline, and commitment. So I got a couple questions that someone asked me. I'm going to answer for them today whenever they show up, if they show up. You need drive, discipline, and commitment. You have to put it in optimal energy and make sacrifices. If you're ready to take this journey, here's this question you got to answer. Are you ready to do what it takes to see your journey through? Are you ready to do what it takes to see your journey through? So here we go, guys. Step one. Now, someone asked me, it's interesting because I started a show called Money Mind Shift, and it's a 100-day journey. So every day I got to show up to do this show. It's been 50 days, so I'm halfway through. And guess what? Every day I showed up to do the show. Now, I can say that the people that's been watching the show, they didn't show up every day to watch the show, but I still showed up every day to do the show. What did that show? What did that display? That displays commitment. That displays discipline to get up each and every day and put the show on. That displays drive, the drive to get the content out to the people. 50 days straight. Well, you know, weekends I'm off, but I work 6 days on, 1 day off. But 50 days of doing this show, and I haven't had one person that's been with me the whole 50 days. But that doesn't stop me. Maybe they got what they needed to get, but I'm continuing to press on. Got 50 more days to go. Drive, discipline, and commitment. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to go as far as we can go. And then we'll pick up next week wherever we are. So we'll start getting into step one. It's called, you want to develop a focused concept. Develop a focused concept. Everybody write that in the comments below. Develop a focused concept. Now you want to put that in your notes as well, because this is step one. The step one to your idea. You got the idea. Now you need to develop the concept, and it's got to be a focused concept. So here's the story. J.C. Penney was born in 1875 to poor farmers. His humble beginnings and appreciation for hard work empowered him to work his way through the ranks of the Golden Rule store chain. He eventually purchased the chain and renamed it J.C. Penney. During the Great Depression, James personally took on more than $7 million in debt when the company lost more than $40 million. To add insult to injury, he nearly died when he suddenly struck with tuberculosis. But his passion gave him the tenacity he needed to rejuvenate both his health and his business. And he took out a loan, rebuilt the business, ended up living to the grand old age of 95. James Penney had a vision, the discipline to execute the vision, and the resilience to press on through setbacks. He refused to allow anyone or anything to impede his long-term dreams. Drive, discipline, and commitment. Unfortunately, many people don't even get past the concept phase. Think about the last good idea you had. Have you pursued it, or is it still on the back burner as you find yourself waiting on the right moment to move forward? Think about the last good idea that you had. Have you pursued it, or is it still on the back burner as you find yourself waiting on the right moment to move forward? And here's what we find, guys. We find so many people who are waiting on the right moment. And I can tell you this, that for me, the difference between me and most people is I don't wait. I just go create. I don't wait. I create. You create the moments that you want in your life. You create the moments that you want in your business. You create these moments. You can't wait, because there'll never be a right time for you to get started, for you to implement, for you to work these things out. Get started. But most people are waiting. And they're going to wait until they're 75 years old. They're going to look back and say, what happened to all the time? All the time was you were waiting on the right moment, and that right moment will never come. You're not alone in this waiting cycle. J.C. Penney said some folks have a wishbone instead of a backbone. The goal of this first step is to help you move from wishing to working. From wishing to working. It's time for you to shift from conceptualization to implementation. Now, to begin implementing, you'll need to focus. You have to commit your energy to a single clear goal. So right now, I want you to think about a single clear goal. So as you start this process, have one goal in mind, just one. I know many of you guys have a whole bunch of ideas, but we want to focus on one that you want to develop through this journey. Just one. Now, you can use this process for all of them, but for the purposes of what we're doing here, I want you to come, or even think about, if you don't have one right now, one clear goal that you want to create, that you want to develop, that you want to make into a business, or you want to further your business. One clear goal. Now, you might have millions of ideas flowing through your head, but to implement any of them, you have to hone in on a single idea. Otherwise, as best-selling author Seth Godin stated, you will become a wandering generality as opposed to a meaningful specific. Resist the human tendency to become a wandering generality. The next few chapters we'll select will help you with concepts on how you should execute. So do all you guys have one clear goal in mind? You have one thing that you are looking to build, create, or extend as far as your business is concerned? Do you have one clear goal in mind before we move on? I assume yes. I don't know. Not getting much response here. For sure. All right, the one thing. All right, yes, the one thing. Yes. All right, fantastic. So here's step number one, guys. Step number one is you want to establish your concept. Establish your concept. Now, the first thing you need is a clear set of blueprints. A written plan clarifies your process for both you and the public. Carve out a few hours in your schedule to outline your ideas. Don't think so much about endless details that you end up empty-handed and frustrated after hours of unproductive energy. Just write. Once you've gotten out all your initial thoughts, set them aside for a few days, return eventually and narrow your ideas down to 50 to 75 words. Simplicity and focus will help you shape a clear description for your audience. Once you've created the basic framework, you should edit your blueprint several times to ensure you've examined all angles. The key is finding a healthy balance between free writing and careful examination. All right, so here's the question. What exactly is your concept? Now, you don't necessarily have to tell me, but this is something I want you to write down, jot down if you already have it. What exactly is your concept? So you have an idea, but now you need to make it into a concept. And then over the next week, this is your homework for step one, is you want to carve out a couple of hours just to kind of free write about this concept. And then you want to put some careful examination into what you write so you can narrow it down into 50 to 75 words. Kind of like a mission statement, kind of like a mission and description all in one. What is it that you are looking to develop? Why are you looking to develop? What purpose will it serve? These are the things that you want to write down as it relates to this idea that you have that you want to bring out into the universe. And we're taking the idea and we're making it a concept. So what exactly is your concept? Again, you can share, or you can, if it's a $1 million idea, then just make sure that you write it down in your journal, in your, I don't know, whatever it is that you're using. If it's a phone or whatever, you need to write down. What exactly is your concept. If you don't know what your concept is, maybe you just have the idea, but you don't know what the concept is just yet. Well, this is the purpose of taking a few hours out of your week over the next week to, you want to schedule it and you want to outline your ideas, because out of your ideas, you'll start to kind of shape what your concept is. Does everybody get that? Step one, establish your concept. The question is, what exactly is your concept? And then you've got some action items to do over the next week to make sure that you're able to shape this concept that you have for that's coming from your idea. This is the first step in the process. Everybody got that? So can everybody commit to carving out a few hours over the next week to free write on their ideas, and then to examine those ideas, to carve it down, or to uh, um, to bring it to 50 to 75 words so that it's clear and concise exactly what it is that you want to do. So I got one yes. I know some people are here a little late, but, you know, you'll catch up. No big deal. Because, again, so yes, fantastic. So this show, again, this is a show of action. I'm walking through it with you guys as well, but we're going to go through this process. And at the end of this process, we want to have something tangible that we're working on. So the goal is to have one clear goal in mind. You're going to take that one clear goal. You're going to establish a concept. The way that you're going to establish that concept, you're going to carve out a few hours. You're going to schedule it over the next week because we're going to be back next Wednesday. And then you're going to just free write. Just let your imagination go with this idea that you have. Once you have that idea or have free write, you're going to examine what you wrote. And then you're going to narrow your ideas down into 50 to 75 words. What is it? Why do you want to do it? What is it? And how is it going to serve the masses? How is it going to serve? How is it going to bring value to the marketplace? Because we all understand we got ideas, but not every idea is a good idea, guys. Okay, I know you think it came from your brain. It's a great idea, but not every idea. It could be a great idea, but not every idea is valuable to the marketplace. So this is why you're going to kind of narrow it down, because I know some of you, again, you have so many ideas that you never get started because you want to do them all. You want to work on them all. What we're saying is we're going to hone in on just one. And probably it's going to be your biggest one. Whatever your biggest idea is, that's the one I want you to focus on through this process. Is that cool? All right. So first up, establish your concept. And the first question, what exactly is your concept? What exactly is your concept? Now, if you want to tell us what that is, you can feel free to do that. If you feel like it's confidential, then make sure that you jot it down in your notebook, in your wherever you keep your notes, wherever you store it, because this is something that you're going to be coming back to week after week as we go through this process, and hopefully it's going to help you to bring forth your idea and to implement it so it can be something concrete that people can serve. So when you say create multiple streams of income, that's great. That's an idea, but that's really not specific enough, because you got to do something in order to create multiple streams. So when you say create multiple streams of residual income, now we got to be focusing on which stream are you going to be working on, and how's that going to create residual income for you? You got to develop something in order for it to become a stream. So as you think about, I want to create multiple streams of income, then we got to start focusing on, okay, well, how are we going to do that? So if you're going to do investments or you're going to do Forex, then you're not really focusing on the concept. You're focusing on the strategy and learning how to do something, which is great. So you're not really looking to build anything. You're just looking to get your money out into the market and trade it and implement it. Now, you can obviously, part of your concept will be to take some classes. Part of your concept would be to find a mentor. But for this particular, what we're talking about here is we're talking about taking an idea that you have, and specifically for business, right? Taking an idea that you have that you want to implement or you want to create. We're talking about business ideas. So investments wouldn't really be in that scope unless you're saying, hey, I want to teach other people about Forex. But I'm pretty sure you got some other things that you're thinking about doing, because I know you have a lot of skills, Mark, that you might be looking to monetize. So think about something that you do, something that's an idea of yours that you're like, hey, I want to create a business out of this, or I want to monetize this, and let that be the concept we focus on for this particular show. Is that cool? Okay, cool. Fantastic. Hey, Adrian, thanks so much for joining. All right, so step one, guys, was to establish your concept. And the question you wanted to ask is, what exactly is your concept? So we're talking about how to move your business idea from dream to reality. So the concept should circle around some business idea that you have, either something to create, or maybe it's something to extend the business that you already have. Maybe it's going to be a new service or a new product or something like that. This is the concept or the idea that I want you to kind of focus on, because we're talking about taking your business ideas and making them become a reality. All right, step two, guys. We talked about establishing your concept. The next step is you want to discover your inspiration. Discover your inspiration. Everybody put that in the comments below. Discover your inspiration. Now, the best ideas solve a specific problem. What problem are you attempting to solve? So as you think about your idea and you think about the concept that you're going to be working on over the next week, answer this question. And if you can answer it right now, that would be great. What problem are you attempting to solve? What problem are you attempting to solve? So as you guys know, my big idea is to build a school. The problem that I'm attempting to solve is to solve the financial illiteracy problem that we have in our nation. Obviously, I'm going to start with the local market, and then I'm going to expand abroad. So my big problem, or the problem that I'm attempting to solve, is financial illiteracy. With your idea that you have and the concept that you're bringing, what problem are you attempting to solve? I know I talk a little bit faster than you type, so I'll keep reading while you guys are typing. What problem is your concept, your idea, this thing that you're going to focus on over the next few weeks? What problem are you attempting to solve? Now, the problem might be tied to something personal, such as escaping an incompetent boss, or it might be a wider reaching issue like helping an underserved group in the community around you. Whatever the case, take time to determine what drives you. Take the time to determine what drives you. Once again, the key is to write it out. If you don't get it on paper, it will lack clarity. And if it's not clear, it will never become reality. And repeat that again. Once again, the key is to write it out. If you don't get it on paper, it will lack clarity. And if it is not clear, it will never become reality. Now, here's the deal. Here's the reason why you want it to be clear. If it's not clear, it's going to be hard to see the road that lies ahead for whatever it is that you need to do to make it become reality. And if you can't see the road ahead, then you typically are going to kind of wander because it's not going to be clear what the path is for you or what the next step is. So you want your goal to be clear, but you also want your inspiration to be clear. This is the age-old question of your why. Why do you want to do this? What's your big why? What's going to drive you? Because once you get past the phase of enthusiasm and you got to get to commitment, it's your why that's going to keep you committed after the feelings have passed. After you get started, after honeymoon is over, and you still got to do more and more work until your vision is implemented. What is driving you? What's going to drive you to take your concept or your idea from a dream to reality? What inspires you? What problem are you attempting to solve? So Mark said that he fixed the problem with attainment of knowledge of finance. So you want to fix that problem for other people, or you want to fix that problem for yourself? Yourself first. So Paris said adequate care of the increasing baby boomer generation as they transition into old age. Okay. So it sounds like, oh, wow, that's interesting. All right, so I don't know what that concept or idea is, man, but that's pretty cool, man. You got some concept around, is this like elder care of some sort? Okay, fantastic. All right, so we got two people that have responded. I've got Pat still in the building. He's probably just watching, trying to see what this show is about. Got Miss MF Sloan here, Noel, and Adrian. So Adrian, you said you're wondering. So you're still wondering what drives you? Or are you still wondering what inspires you? Or still wondering what the problem you're looking to solve? Is you still wondering in that area? All of the above. Okay. Well, this is going to be a great exercise for you. So again, whatever it is that you take away from today, you want to have a pen and paper, and you want to kind of carve out some time over the next week so that when you come back next Wednesday, you got some of these answers, because we want to make sure we got the first steps of the foundation set as we move forward. Does that make sense? So even if you don't know them now you know what you can be thinking about over the next week, so that when we come back, you're like, it finally came to me. I asked God, he answered my prayer, he gave me the answer, whatever the case may be. How about you, Noel? What drives you? What problem are you attempting to solve? Now, after you've small business on lack of customer service and feedback systems. Yeah. Oh man, that's big. So you working on some type of system or something like that you're going to be rolling out to help them give feedback and improve customer service. Awesome. Now, after you've clarified your plan, you'll need to remember your inspiration. When external factors challenge and overwhelm you, this inspiration will keep you going. Remind yourself that the pain of going backwards outweighs the pain of pressing forward. Remind yourself that the pain of going backwards outweighs the pain of pressing forward. Ultimately, pressing forward leads you to a definitive solution. And you're going to find, guys, that this is going to be a test for you. I found it for myself that every now and then you're going to think about going back. You're going to think about going back to what you used to do. You're going to be thinking about stopping. You're going to be thinking about quitting. But you got to remember that the pain of going backwards outweighs the pain of pressing forward. So you want to continue to press forward. And the way that you're going to be able to do that, I'm telling you, you're going to run across this. It happens to everybody that's looking to start something new or do something different or bring some idea to the marketplace. You got to remember what inspired you in the first place to get started. And hopefully whatever that is outside of you, because if it's just for you, then it's not really big enough. It's like, oh, okay, it's for me. And if you let yourself down, it's okay. But if you let somebody else down, whoever else it is that you're trying to serve, for Pat, he said small business owners, for Paris, he said for baby boomers, he's got other people on his mind, which means that his dream is kind of big enough to serve more people. I'm not quite sure what you're doing yet, Adrian, or what your concept is. And Noel, I'm not quite sure what your concept is either. But as you think about what your concept is, now you want to ask yourself, what inspired your concept in the first place? That's what we're talking about. So the first step, take your idea, bring it down, write it down, schedule a couple hours out of your week, the next week, and take some time to really put your initial thoughts down. Then you want to review those thoughts and narrow those thoughts down into 50 to 75 words, which is what your concept is, what it does, what kind of value it's going to bring to the marketplace, who it's going to serve, pretty much like a description or mission and a description kind of put together. Then from there, you want to discover your inspiration, which is what inspired your concept in the first place. Why in the world do you want to do this one thing? This one thing. And so that's what we're talking about now. And so Perry said a lack of proper nutrition in major urbanized areas. Wow. The rate of chronic disease is expected to decrease a lot in the coming years. So you've been doing some research. Yeah, you're way ahead of us. we ain't got to that step yet, but cool, man. So you got some research backing what it is that you want to do. And it obviously troubles you or bothers you for some reason, whether it's personal or you just see what's coming down the pike, or you're thinking about, hey, as I get older. And so whatever your concept is, we don't want to know that specifically. You've got something that's really driving you to bring this thing to reality. So that's great. Sloan, haven't heard from you yet. I'd love to make sure that you're here. I know that you're kind of just watching, but if you want to, hey, okay, all right. You hadn't said anything, so I didn't know if I, just want to make sure you were here. Are you going to participate? Are you eating? Oh, you can't eat and type. Yep, the fork. Okay, I got you. You done eating now? You saved something for us? All right, cool. So as we're going through these steps here, so I'm gonna go as far as I can go, as long as I can go. So establish your concept, discover your inspiration, and then now the third step is you want to align your concept with your core values. Align your concept with your core values. So I know some of you guys might be on step 1, some of you guys might be on step 2. Just remember, jot this stuff down in your journal and then go over this stuff over the next week. So when we come back, everyone's caught up and everybody's on the same page. So whatever it is that you need to do for your business, for your idea, make sure you do that. And so as we come back, we'll all be squared up with where we're going to start next week. So align your concept with your core values. Hey, Ms. Kim Harris, thanks so much for joining. So almost every successful leader I know spends his or her time investing in activities that align with their specific core values. Clear core values will guide your major decisions and help you maintain your focus. Take some time now to define 4 to 6 non-negotiable core values and commit to them. Take some time now to define 4 to 6 non-negotiable core values and commit to them. So I want everybody to give me at least 2, and then you can write the rest in your journal. 2 core values, 2 non-negotiable core values that you will commit to? What are your values? What do you value? It might be a little tough one for some people. You got to take some time to think about that. And I'll keep reading as you guys are thinking and typing. I need 2 from you. And then the other 2 or the other 4, you can write down in your journal and make sure you have them as you're aligning your concept. Thank you. Transparency and literacy. Literacy is definitely one of mine. Align your concept with your core values. Honesty and servitude. Fantastic. Awesome. Clarity and honesty. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Making sure I embody what it means to be healthy. Obviously, yeah, so helpful if you're a thing. Integrity and service. Thanks so much. Adrian, waiting on you. So for me, for those that don't know, I talk about this all the time, but literacy is one. Obviously, I'm teaching financial literacy, but the other ones are going to be information and inspiration in what we disseminate. Those are the 2 things that are non-negotiable. We want to give information, but we also want to inspire at the same time. So inspiration and information. And then I always say the word dynamic as well. We want to make sure that we're putting on, that's a non-negotiable for me. If I don't have dynamic teachers, then they won't be hired. So those are 4 that are non-negotiable for me. Literacy, focusing on that, inspiration and dynamic. Now, as you define your values, you might make some difficult discoveries. You might find that you've wasted time, lived an undisciplined life, or followed the advice of unqualified guides. Pay close attention to these issues because they will follow you if not addressed. When these issues threaten to hold you back on your journey, you'll need to hold on to your core values. Let your values guide and focus you while pursuing your dreams. So here's a question from step 3. How does your concept align with your core values? How does your concept align with your core values? So I know with Paris, when I look at your concept as it relates to helping the elderly live healthy lives, then obviously you want to make sure that you're about what it means to be healthy. So that definitely aligns. I don't know what your other one was, but you'll kind of write those down. Kim Harris, I'm not quite sure what you got going on, but I want to kind of just bring you up to speed with what we're doing here. We're talking about how to take a business idea from dream to reality. This is a business idea that you have to start a business, or it's a business idea that you have to expand what you currently do. You might already have a business, you're looking to add a product or service. So the number 1 thing you want to do is you want to focus on one clear goal, one thing that you want to do, just one. We all have multiple things going on in our head. We want to focus on one for this purpose of getting through this process of turning your idea from a dream to reality. The first step with that is you want to establish your concept. So take that idea that you have, write it down. You want to freelance for a couple of hours. You want to set a couple of hours aside out of the next week and write and just free write. Imagine what's going on, Abdul, and imagine and write. Now, after you write, then you want to come back and you want to examine what you wrote. And then you want to narrow that down to about 50 to 75 words. That's going to describe whatever it is. Now you've taken your idea and you made it into a concept. Once you establish your concept, now you want to discover your inspiration. This is the why do you want to do this concept? What's the inspiration? What problem will it solve? What's the inspiration behind you wanting to do this? You wanting to add this service? You wanting to offer this product? You wanting to build this whatever? What is the inspiration behind it? You need the inspiration because when you find yourself going through those times of, oh, I want to quit, I want to give up, oh, it's too hard, oh, it's overwhelming, you can always come back to your why, which is your inspiration, why you started in the first place. And then the third step, which we're on right now, is you want to align your concept to your core values. You want to make sure that you're able to stay true to who you are as you're building your dream, or as you're making your dream or turning your dream to reality. So for Kim, I don't know what your idea is, and we don't want to necessarily know what your idea is, but make sure that you understand what your concept is. And once you understand your concept, I will ask you, what's your inspiration behind your concept? What problem are you looking to solve? Or what is it that's inspiring to you to want to do whatever it is this concept is that you have? And then the second question I'm going to ask you, Kim, since you just joined, is what you already mentioned what your core values are. You want to make sure that your concept aligns with your core values. So I'll ask you, does your concept align with your core values? All right. So while she's typing that, guys, I'll give you a quick breather. Again, what's going on, Nelson? We're going through the book Execution Pipeline. It's a book that came out in the fall of 2015. Once I saw it, I was wild, and I said, I'm going to do something with this. It's a step-by-step guide on how to turn your business ideas from dreams to reality. It's by Anthony Flynn. Of course, as always, you can get the book through me. It's at www.erdj.net. Now, the process that we're going through is through this book. It's probably going to take us about 12 to 15 weeks, just depending on how much we get through. That's fine. That's fine. Depending on how much we get through. And then we all have homework. So then we'll do it over the week, and then we'll come back and we'll pick up where we left off. I think everybody should be cool with that. Give you a week to at least go through these first 4 or 5 steps. All right. So we established our concept. We discovered our inspiration. We aligned our concept with our core values. And now the 4th step is you got to prepare to sacrifice. You got to prepare to sacrifice. Now, you might have an excellent idea, but millions of other people in this world have great ideas too. Of these millions of good ideas, only a few pass the implementation test, and even fewer last more than a few years. Even successful businesses can lose traction over time. A large percentage of Fortune 500 companies die within a decade of having reached their pinnacle of success. To avoid failure, you'll need to make long-term sacrifices. Got to ask yourself, are you willing to make a long-term sacrifice? And I say it like this: I found something I'm willing to die for. That's a big sacrifice. All right. Now, developing and sustaining a venture of any kind requires undivided attention. And you'll have to reorganize your life. Everybody say reorganize your life. Put that in the comment below. It requires undivided attention, and you have to be willing to reorganize your life. Perhaps even letting go of some figments of loyalty to other things. Now, regardless of your previous experience, if you're a new entrepreneur, you have never done anything like this before. Ask yourself now what price you're willing to pay for success of your venture, and compare this to your current priorities. Reorganize your life. Ask yourself now what price you're willing to pay for the success of your venture, and compare this to your current priorities. So here's a question you want to ask. Are you currently employed? Are you currently employed? Are you married? Are you married? Do you have a family? Are you a single mother or father? Are you enrolled in school? Are you financially strapped? You'll need to consider questions like these before you take the leap forward. Otherwise, you might discover too late that the sacrifices are too great. So now this is that discovery phase. You got to ask yourself, where are you in life right now? And what are you willing to sacrifice to ensure that you have success in your venture? In other words, your concept, your idea that you're working to make a reality, some things that you might have to sacrifice. So where are you right now in life? Those are some questions. You probably have some other questions you want to add on to that. Do you have a family? Are you a single mother or father? Are you enrolled in school? Are you financially strapped? You'll need to consider these questions or questions like this before you take the leap forward. Now, some people will say, hey, just jump off the ledge and build your wings on the way down. And I don't accept that. I don't believe in that. I believe that you should consider some things first before you leap. And then if you feel like, hey, I'm free to leap, like for me, like Paris, I'm single. I have no kids. I don't have no wife. I'm not in school. I can go for it like nobody else can go for it. But you may not be in the same situation like me. So you may have to consider the cost. You always have to consider the cost of you going after whatever it is that you are looking to build, whatever it is you're looking to extend as far as your business idea. So Paris said life, and those are some personal questions. So ask yourself this: what will you have to give up to proceed with this concept? What do you have to give up? Because life is all about exchange. So you're going to be exchanging your time somewhere in order to use that time for this. So what do you have to give up in order to proceed with this idea that you have? So Pat said he's married, kids, work full-time, building the business anyway. But let me ask you this, Pat, before you got to that point of building your business, there was something that you had to give up. Now, here's the interesting thing, guys. When we say something that you had to give up, it doesn't necessarily have to be a individual, or it doesn't have to be something tangible. For some people, they have to give up their pride. For some people, they got to give up their selfishness. For some people, they got, you know what I mean? There's some other things that you might just have to give up. Some people, they got to give up the video games. They got to give up television. What is it that you have to give up to proceed with your concept? Oh, that's a good one. Privacy. Yeah, I know you're a private fellow, Paris. Yeah, you got to give up some of your privacy because you're going to have to kind of reach out. Give up unstructured time. Yeah, Paris said he likes his privacy a lot. So this is a great place for you guys to open up because, quite honestly, you know you're going to have to give up something. So Pat said he sold a non-profitable business and agreed to stay. Okay. Agreed to stay at your business or where you were working at? Something like that? Or agreed to stay at the company or something like that? Cool. Oh, now an employee. Okay, fantastic. Agreed to stay as an employee, but you're still working on building your business. Fantastic. So in this extra time that you use, where did you get that from? Like, you're an employee. That means you probably got some schedule, but then how did you carve out the time to start working on your business part-time? What'd you have to give up to start working on your business part-time? There was something that you were doing with that time before, and it's probably building the other business, I guess. I'm not quite sure. So yeah, so we heard from Pat, heard from Paris, and heard from Mark. Adrian, what do you got to give up? What do you got to give up to proceed with your concept? And if you don't have an answer, that's fine. Miss Sloan. Oh, you said the only thing that you have to lose is time. Well, you're not losing. That means you're going to be investing your time, right? You're not going to be losing it. You're probably just spending your time now. And then you're going to go from spending your time to investing your time. That's cool. All right. So thanks so much for joining, Miss Kathy. Oh, bye, Miss Kathy Joe. All right. So yeah, there's something you got to give up. So we're talking about being prepared to sacrifice, considering questions like these before you take the leap forward. Otherwise, you might discover it's too late, that the sacrifices are too great. We'll go through one more, and then we'll kind of shut this thing down. So as we start our process of turning our business idea from dream to reality, we want to hone in on one single goal that we want to accomplish. So whether you're starting a new business, whether you're extending what you offer, maybe there's a new service you want to offer, maybe there's a product you want to offer, maybe there's a new wing to your business, whatever it is, one idea. And I want this main idea we're going to focus on through this journey. So just keep that one in mind. I know it might be difficult. Many of you guys have so many ideas, but our whole goal is to walk out of this time together. When we get through going through this process of 10 weeks or so, that you walk away saying, okay, got this one thing started. That's the whole point. So you come in here to get action going in your life. All right. So you want to establish your concept. You want to discover your inspiration. You want to align the concept with your core values, and will prepare to sacrifice. And the fifth thing, and we'll stop here, you want to assess your motives. Now, make sure that you guys are taking notes. Make sure you got your journal. Make sure you know what you need to take away from the day so you can be done with the first 5 steps. So we all come back ready to go with step 6. So assess your motives. Imagine a billionaire invested in your concept so that you never had to work another day in your life. Would you still get up every day with the same enthusiasm for your venture? Imagine a billionaire invested in your concept so that you never had to work another day in your life. Would you still get up every day with the same enthusiasm for your venture? Now, for me, guys, I absolutely would, because it's not about me. It's about the next generation. And I hope a billionaire does invest so that we can reach more people and we can teach this thing called financial literacy. I don't have to go up against the government with what they don't want they don't want the masses to know just about money. Number 5 is assess your motives. Yes, I can list Pat. Y'all, y'all get me the type. All right, number 1, establish your concept. Number 2, discover your inspiration. Number 3, align the concept with your core values. Number 4, prepare to sacrifice. And number 5, assess your motives. All right, y'all good? I'll make sure I kind of write that down next time. All right, assess your motives. All right, so you said probably more so, Sloan. Okay, yes. Okay. All right, so assess your motives. All right, so if the answer is a resounding yes, you are definitely moving in the right direction. If the answer is no, you might want to reflect on your inspiration for moving forward. Although you won't always love everything about your work, you should evaluate your motives. Don't pursue a venture for money or special perks. Trailblazing a new idea is not always glamorous, and your passion will often be the only incentive you have. And repeat that again. Trailblazing a new idea is not always glamorous, and your passion will often be the only incentive that you have. What did Martin Luther King Jr., Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, or Steve Jobs have in common? They had passion. Don't underestimate the power of passion and its ability to keep the engine turning when times get hard. Each of the aforementioned individuals had to struggle. Don't think for a moment that they achieved what they did without some significant challenges. Second, they had enough passion for their missions to push them through the struggles. Many of the greatest products, businesses, and services began as someone's passion. In most cases, these entrepreneurs would pursue these passions even if they weren't compensated for them. Do something you would do for free, then figure out a way to get paid for it. And here's the question. How hard would you work to implement this concept for free? How hard would you work to implement your concept, the idea that you have? How hard would you work for it to implement the concept for free? Assess your motives. So for me, guys, I do a lot of stuff free, as you guys may know. I don't charge the kids to take the classes, I only charge the adults. So each and every week I'm doing classes and the kids are coming for free. But that's just how hard I'm willing to work. And I know as I be consistent in my actions, eventually the money will come, but I don't focus on the money. I keep my focus on the mission. What's your mission? And what's your motive behind the mission? What's inspiring you to even want to be here today to really say, you know what, I got this idea, and maybe this can help me turn this dream into a reality. That's why we're here, and that's why I decided to start this show, so that we can go through this process together. There are many of us who wish we had someone to help us along the way, and then hopefully we'll help one another as we focus on this one goal that we have, and we push it forward until it becomes a reality. And we can all look back to March 30th, 2016 and say, we did this together. So as you guys know, I'm all about partnering for success. And again, just kind of whatever these 5 steps, whatever it is that you need to do to make sure that you're up and ready to go with step 6, that's what you need to do. That's your homework over the next week. Carve out some time in your life to make sure to see how committed you are, how dedicated you are to making your dream become reality. Establish your concept, discover your inspiration, align your concept with your core values, prepare to sacrifice, and assess your motives. Those are the first 5 steps. If you haven't done all of those, make sure that you're caught up when we get ready to roll next week with step number 6. Again, this is the Execution Pipeline, a book that just came out in fall of 2015. I'm recommending that you get the book so that you can keep up. I think it's like $20 or something like that. But I'm telling you, when I first started reading, I said, I have got to have it. And I think that you might find that it'll be beneficial for you to have as well. And then that way, if you get, I don't know, something happens next Wednesday, you got to catch the recording or whatever, you can always catch up in the book. Now, I'm going to stop the recording here. That's the time where our Future by Design, but I'll stay on for about 15 minutes because I know I got parents who had a couple questions I want to answer. And then if anybody else wants to jump in and talk about their experience for today, we'll do that as well. But for those that are on video, just make sure you follow the 5 steps, and we'll be back next week on Wednesday at 8:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Turn your dreams to reality.